Hi, everyone. Just a quick update about today. Started my morning at 2:45. I got up and I have a 3:30 class. So I was up and at 'em. I taught till 8:30. So had a full morning. I will say I had great students today. Nothing better than a sweet little boy that leans into his computer and says, "You're beautiful." I just about melted in my seat at 4:30 this morning, but it went great, no problems today. All I had a little break in there, but pretty much back to back. I will say I just wanted to update on yesterday. I mentioned that I had 35 classes booked, roughly 17 and a half hours worth of classes for all of my Friday, Saturday, and Sunday hours were filled with one student. And so I sent a message into Fresh Desk and I talked to them about it, and they emailed me back and said they would talk to the mother and she said she would fix it. And so she went home and fixed it, but she took, of course, all of those classes away. And so now I have all of those hours open, which is a very big disappointment for me because on Monday, some of my students that have booked me on the weekends, saw me as booked up. So hopefully there's something that can be done to fix it, or I can get some other classes in there because it's a little bit of a shame. But I do have a lot of bookings for next 2 weeks. We book for 2 weeks out. So I have a lot of bookings, so I'm not uptight about it. But I definitely, those are prime time hours, the weekend. And I've decided to pick some weekend hours up just because I wanted to see, throw it out there and see what happened. And wow, I threw it out and I got I got a whole weekend booked, but just not the way it should be. So that's off the table, and I'm just hoping something will be remedied with that. The second thing I just wanted to share real quick was today. I had a little boy yesterday that threw me for a loop. Now, guys, I've been around the block. I've taught Sunday school in my church. I have had three children. I've had three children who've had lots of friends over from every different style of home, and I've lived in China and I've dealt with Chinese kids. So this is not a shocker to me that I'm going to have a misbehaving student. But there does come a point where you go, whoa, this one's over the edge. Close the laptop, it's dark. Standing at one point, the laptop reopens, he's standing on the desk, and so all I see is, the bottom half of his feet up to his knees, and then he jumps down and starts to take off his pants, and he's playing and running around, and then at one point he got a stick, and he was, doing this in the screen, and so I had my wand and I was kind of doing this back, trying to kind of get his attention. I did play around a little bit and try to see if I could, win him over with some funny stuff. So I had a pig and I had the dog, and I was trying to, get his attention, with some things, and he would kind of glance at it and move on. Just kept doing his thing. Mom wasn't helping. Mom was there. I saw her. I could see her in the side there. Every once in a while, she would just laugh and maybe once in a while pull the chair over and tell him to sit down, but he wouldn't sit down. Then I'd see her chase him, and then he'd come back, and then the next thing you know, she takes, the stick is there and it's gone. She takes it away, and then all of a sudden I see her in the background and she's poking him, and doing all this stuff to him. And so then he starts showing her where he wants to be scratched. And so she's scratching him. So I was like, lady, help me out. I'm doing everything. I pulled out puppets, Mr. Potato Head. I sang, I did faces on the mannequin. I did it all. Nothing worked. There was no teaching going on. It was just a song and dance routine by me for 20 minutes into it. So finally, I just, looked at that clock and said, okay, as soon as as soon as it happens, we're done. 25 minutes. That's it. I finished. Okay, bye bye. And I thought, oh my goodness, what would I do if I had him ever again? Because I got nothing done. He shows up on my schedule for tomorrow. But I'm just going to make a confession here on Facebook. And, I apparently haven't lost my job because I did bring the the feed attention to the firemen. But um, I finally pulled out this, and it worked. He sat down and actually looked at the screen for a few minutes, probably 5. He sat in front of the screen, and all he could do was just go, ah. But I got him in the seat. So I kind of felt like, okay, tomorrow. I mean, he booked me again. It was short notice booking, and they booked me again. But I'll say this: he must not have had a nightmare, because they booked me right away. But I did get on Fresh Desk, and it said this, if you have a real problem, which this one wasn't even like, this wasn't just a kid that was disinterested or wouldn't talk or whatever. It was just, you couldn't even get him in front of the camera. So I sent I read on there, it said just hit the firemen and let them know. So I did. And I said, this is the second day, and yesterday and today, can you help? And so firemen said, I'm calling them out. So apparently he told the mom he could see what was going on, which they can. So that set a fire under mom. And it's funny. I think it's a lot like the phone calls my mom used to get when I was a junior higher from school. Because I'm pretty sure she got these kinds of calls, because then the wrath comes down. She gets the call and then she comes to me. Well, all of a sudden, it was like today, it was like wham. He was in the seat, and he was still doing this and doing this and doing this, but he was talking to me, and he was answering questions. And you know what? He has good English. He understood me, and he could speak plainly. And all of a sudden, he just decides he wants to do the matching. I just threw him one of the matching games that was in the slides just to see if he would respond. And he started doing it all by himself. And I was like, see, I mean, this kid does know what he's doing. It's just that it's either the bad time of day, or it's the combo of, mom not, cracking the whip. No, I'm not going to lie. If this stick comes out and it's in my hand, the kid's going to get one of those if he's not behaving. But, we have our cultural differences, and we have to do our thing here. So I'm not recommending that you use a zombie on the kid. That probably wasn't a good thing on my part. But it does sound like they reviewed both tapes, and nothing was said. So I guess I'm okay. But I won't do that again. It was just, it was sheer frustration. So that's what happened. So guys, man, if you have a bad student, I mean, not bad, but if you have a kid that's just like, going crazy on you, and you can't wrestle them into the seat, and mom's not helping, you might need to ask the Chinese lead teacher, because apparently her little phone calls make things happen. So she did. And I was able to at least have a semblance of the rest of the class. And then I went on to have my sweet little next boy, who was such the opposite. He was so eager to talk to me, and just right up in the camera, and told me I was beautiful a couple times. So, he's kind of my favorite now. But anyway, that's how my day went. And I just thought I would update you. Bookings are great. Other than my weekend that's free. So let's see what happens this week, because, short-term bookings happen all through the week, and I'm hopeful that this weekend I'll slot some in. Till next time, have a great day.